I'm sure you've heard things in the industry that men are far superior agents than women.
Whoa. Really?
Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. Today we're talking about misconceptions in real estate, and we have some doozies for you. Elliot, you want to kick us off with a misconception about real estate?
Well, one of my favorites I was talking about in our pre-show is you get your real estate license and you're going to be rich. Right? You just finished your your schooling, you get your license, high five, can start cracking the champagne bottle because your phone's about to start ringing and money's going to be raining from the ceiling.
Yeah, I got my BMW key as soon as I get my license.
Yep.
Your 3 Series Mercedes key?
Yeah, my 3 Series.
It was
the entry. It's
the entry level
Mercedes.
The
C-Class.
Yeah, your C-Class.
Yes.
So you're going to be rich when you get your license. Oh my goodness. I can remember when I got my license and I met with my broker and I actually put a suit on. I was 22. Yep. And stakes were I felt like stakes were so high. I had no idea that a brokerage would hire anybody with a pulse. So I walk in legit thinking that they're interviewing me. And yeah.
It's funny to hear you say that because I actually kind of went through the exact same experience. I think I interviewed 10 brokers.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty thorough about it. Yeah, at the time, same type of thing. Wore really, I don't think I wore a suit, but I think I might have wore at least a button up or even a tie, here in Arizona. Definitely nice dress.
Oh yeah.
Compared to what we typically see.
Yeah.
But yeah, how funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you don't know what you don't know.
Nope.
So thinking that just because you get your real estate license, you're automatically going to be very wealthy.
Well, it's funny that you guys say that though, is I think not all, maybe it's changed over time, but let's say a decade, 15 years ago, I think that sometimes people who thought you were a realtor automatically thought that too, because when I was young,
you're rich,
and I go hang out with people, friends, quote unquote, of other friends, and they ask what you do, oh, you must make a lot of money. And sometimes that would be they would, think, oh, you're a real estate agent. Oh, you probably do pretty good.
You could pick up the bill.
Yeah.
I don't know if that conception is still prominent, but it definitely was, and I've personally experienced.
I definitely think
I think sales is the biggest wealth builder. All over, and real estate's the most expensive thing you can sell. So yeah, that's probably what people think.
I mean, unless you're gonna sell planes or yachts.
I would say that there's a lot more real estate. I mean, there's real estate that's more expensive than planes and yachts as well.
True.
I mean, maybe not yachts. I mean, the big super yachts.
Yeah, yachts are.
But there are probably fewer sales per year of the yachts.
Yeah.
You'd need more market share.
But yeah, I mean, anything in sales, you're going to make a lot of money if you have the ability to sell. And then if you get into real estate, that's the most expensive asset that you can sell. To me, that's
agreed.
Except yachts.
Yeah,
so it's
$300 million,
which is really still a form of real estate. It's just moving.
Yeah.
It's a boat. It's a big boat.
Yes,
it's a house on the water.
Yes,
I wonder if
floating real estate on the water.
The same misconception is being a Lamborghini salesperson. Oh, he must be rich, but he goes and sells 4 or 5 Lamborghinis, whatever it is, a month, a year, and then you go in your Ford Focus on the way home. I'm not talking a Ford Focus. I'm just saying, hey, we're talking about a $10,000 to $20,000 car, but you go sell Lamborghinis.
He walks out, drops his accent if he has one, right?
Parks in the back,
Lamborghini
behind the dumpsters.
But still, a Lamborghini is only $200,000-$300,000. I mean, that's
nothing
depending
on which one.
To $500,000-$600,000 house that they're all around over here.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, what is another misconception in real estate? Who else has one?
That it's easy. That it's just a walk in the park, a picnic. I mean, I think genuinely people think when you're an agent that it's easy, right? You don't have to do much for your money.
Yeah, they're overpaid.
It's easy.
It's easy. It's easy.
Keep your face.
Speaking
you don't have
of
to do
Pepe.
much for your money. Your face right there was hilarious. You're right though.
It's definitely a misconception.
It is a misconception.
What about misconceptions about landlords? All landlords are
fat.
They're greedy,
sleazy.
Yeah,
pinky rings.
Don't fix anything.
Slumlords.
They smoke cigars.
They just
Balding.
raking all the money.
They're out to get you.
Balding, overweight, cigar, pinky ring.
Yeah, the way they are portrayed in every single movie in Hollywood, I think depicts something of what we just said.
The slumlord. But really, what are landlords? 60% of all landlords are mom and pop landlords that own maybe their single family home, their own home they live in, and then they have one rental.
One other property.
Yeah, that's the majority of landlords.
Well, there's 10 million single family rentals across America, right? That are rented out. Properties that are rented out across America, right? Which is, of course, that it's not a hard.
And how many of those are institutionally owned?
Only less than 1 million.
Less
like
than
the
1
major
million.
hedge funds, less than 1 million.
Or even rounded up to $1 million.
It's like 700,000 homes.
Yep.
So about 4.5% of U.S. housing stock is owned. But that leads us into another misconception. And the misconception is Wall Street is buying up all of the homes across the U.S. And it's a narrative that people love to hate. It's just not the truth.
BlackRock cause blame.
Invitation Homes, Progress, Amherst, you guys are the devil.
It is definitely a misconception, but the truth is that they only own a small percentage
Very small percentage.
of the housing
And the
stock.
large owners of the single family homes or rentals are mom and pa's, right?
Yep.
The mom pa.
Yep.
Well, and one of the other things that we were talking about is, hey, these institutional buyers are the misconception are the main cause. Colby was bringing up on an article that he was reading as the main cause of driving up these home prices. Well, in the right market, sure, but the marketplace is doing
they're
that.
responding to the market.
Tell you, we can tell you with personal experience. Trust me, they're not overpaying for properties in this marketplace. I can tell you that.
No.
They're actually getting
not
good
anymore.
deals if they get one.
Yep.
And today's market,
And then that's
for
not
sure.
driving up the price. That's right.
Yeah. Well, and when you really look at it, right? Like a lot of those major companies, they have their own property management company. Well, a lot of the other just traditional property management companies that are your, C21, Remax, right? Like whatever, those divisions of property management that they have, the overwhelming majority is exactly what Jay was talking about, the mom and pops. That's how they get all their business, right? They love it when they have a client that has 10 homes or whatever. My point is with this is that's where that whole business and enterprise operates off of is running that whole thing. So if you're willing to look at that 30,000 foot view, it's definitely a misconception.
I think if I'm a renter, I would probably want to rent from a large institution rather than a mom and pop. And the reason why is because if I'm going to rent, right, and this happened back in the foreclosure time because we had a lot of experience in that.
Yes.
But if I'm going to rent from somebody, I want to make sure they're financially sound. Like they're not going to their house that I'm renting isn't going into foreclosure because they're not paying their payment. Why I know that if I have a big institution that owns this house, I know I'm not gonna be kicked out. Like suddenly I have my kids in school and all this stuff going on, which happened in the foreclosure market. We had all these foreclosures that renters were in these houses that other people owned and they were being foreclosed on, and they were only renting the property and they had to leave.
Yep.
Right, and they didn't know that the homeowner wasn't making their payment, and so then they had to leave and
We had to completely upend their lives.
Yeah,
really,
exactly, and they had no
essentially.
idea.
So-
They're,
Yeah, you knock on the door.
I had a year lease, or I had a 2-year lease, whatever. So
Yep. Sorry, you no longer.
So I think a lot of they're definitely taking a part of the market where what people want. They want to rent. They want somewhere where they can actually go and rent and make sure that they're not going to be kicked out. They're not going to be moved out by a homeowner that definitely wants to sell or is foreclosing or.
Yeah. Well, what about maintenance and stuff like that? We haven't even talked about that. One of the huge things that I would say institutions like they are on top of it
and they have the money.
Exactly. Like repairs, your AC, water heater, pests, your pipe breaks in the landscape, right? Like I'm just throwing things out there, but they're on top of repairs more times than not. So where I think if it's a private self-managed property, sometimes
They're like, hey, I'll get my friend Pepe out there. He'll be there probably in a couple weeks. Fix that toilet. Just turn it off for now.
that absolutely can be the case.
Oh, your AC's down. Sorry.
Yeah.
We'll
Figure it out.
I should only get to 108 today.
I get paid in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to make the repair.
Yeah.
And these guys have their own, and we see them all over town. Their own vans with their their maintenance crews that go out there, and they can get out there and make a repair really quickly.
Well, if you live in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to see the most amount of those vans because it is the highest concentration of homes that are owned by institutions as rentals. So Atlanta is number one. They have about 4.3% of their entire housing stock is institutionally owned. So they're number one in the country. For mom and pop, anyone want to guess where the largest percentage of mom and pop ownership is? It's coming in at 9.1%, which is really high. And it's a place where if you're a betting man, you might do really well.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Really?
What part?
You totally gave it
Las
away.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Totally gave that was very.
You could have guessed it too.
I know. Well, Jay was,
I was
just
going to
faster than
say
the punch.
California.
He was faster to the button.
He said
How
bet.
big the state
Well,
is.
so here's the map.
I actually was thinking
California is
California,
definitely a ton, a little less than 10%, but Nevada's number one.
Wow.
And then, California has a
And we're
ton
talking
of mom
about
and pop.
like long-term
thinking
rentals,
California.
not short-term rentals, or is this also include short-term rentals?
This is just
Non-owner
long-term.
rock.
long time. Okay.
Yeah, this isn't including short-term rentals.
Yeah, because I would imagine those are growing like crazy too. I mean, there's a lot of people that own short-term rentals.
Absolutely.
So, they use as vacation homes and rent it out on Airbnb and VRBO.
Okay, here's another misconception in real estate is that having short-term rentals is easy.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
That is a huge misconception.
Yeah, you're gonna kill
You know,
it.
I see all of these courses and all of these things on Instagram about like how you can build this lavish lifestyle and no money, just get short-term rentals and go sublease it from a landlord and turn it into a short-term rental and you're gonna make so much money. And the reality is
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Go get a loan with no income. See how that treat you.
Well, the strategy they're teaching isn't even to go get a loan. It's just to go get leases and then turn those leases into short-term rentals.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah. But it's
It definitely works. It's just that you have to work it.
It's like owning another business.
it's not passive.
Yeah.
They preach like, passive income.
Yeah, let's go sit on your couch and collect the money. But no, you're
Airbnb
dealing with all that crap.
is an extremely valuable company, right? They get like 10%, I believe, of the short-term lease for those. And they're the one driving all the traffic. So it's super competitive. You have to be on top of it. Not only that, like making sure that you get a property that's in the right area. And then what if the neighbors complain, right? Like there's a lot of nuances to it.
Yeah,
You're stuck with the bad.
Jay, you might know some
People
things about
smoking
that.
in it.
They leave
leaving
it
People
easy.
personal-
throwing the art
leaving-
in the pool.
I was gonna say leaving personal
yeah.
contraband in the property.
Yeah, we've
Yeah, we had
seen
a-
some doozies.
Yeah, we had definitely had someone left their AK-47 on the couch. They threw the lamp in the pool with the picture.
Man had a good night, huh?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
some-
good time.
Some stories to
That's
tell.
Definitely some stories.
That's some what's the movie with the guys in Vegas where they all
The
Hangover.
Yeah, sounds like a scene from Hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, I do a lot of Airbnb rentals for athletes, professional athletes, and just kind of keep their anonymity from the homeowner or from the Airbnb. And yeah, they're definitely like to party. They definitely like to have fun.
Yeah, I mean that's the life.
Yep.
Work hard, play hard.
Oh, I got one other one that totally just came to me, guys. That real estate agents look like their photo.
You know what? I'm a little guilty of that. I have my photo in my quote unquote realtor email, which I hardly use these days. From that perspective, is like 10 years old.
Yeah, but you still
But
at least
I-
probably look like
Yeah,
that.
does
There's
it
a
still
lot
look
of
like you?
people.
Yeah, but I'm like in a nice suit and tie. I'm looking all fly.
I
I don't go that GQ these days.
What was the one photos that women would get the
The glamour shot.
Glamour shots.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, those
glamour
are the
shot.
worst.
Yeah.
Especially like the big hair, like those ones.
And it's
Or,
all
no.
it's all blurry everywhere.
Where you
too.
see them, or they have their
Soft
hand
focus.
The soft
on their
focus.
chin.
Oh yeah, like this.
Yeah, my favorite one is when they're on the phone. That's what, right? I was just like,
Call me.
What are we doing here?
Well, hey, it's funny to laugh at whether you've done it or not have done it, because at some level we've all done it.
I'm so guilty. I use old photos all the time. So guilty. I was just telling you that.
Yeah,
I was just telling you that yesterday. I'm like, I need to update my headshot. It's so
when we
old.
bought our first house, we used an agent, and we saw his picture, and he picked us up, and he was, did not look like him. I was gonna say that mean, but no.
We still got in the car though.
We still got in the car, yeah.
We
We
went
were like,
for
wow,
it.
this guy looks totally different than this
Yeah.
picture.
I know.
You feel
Right, like
catfish.
20 years
that's what I
ago.
totally said.
Yeah, you feel a little. You start the
Catfish.
relationship off with a little bit of mistrust.
Yes.
Anybody?
Ooh, that's actually fiery true.
It is true. It's like, this person must be extremely insecure because they're using a photo that looks nothing like them. That was like their
Totally.
best day ever.
Yeah, or they like are in a suit, whatever. They look professional. They show up in like flip flops and a t-shirt.
Big difference. Yeah.
You know it's true.
Wow, that's a common problem, because anybody who's lived that single life, who's been on Tinder or Plenty of Fish or any of those other websites, that's the number one problem.
It's
You
catfish.
show up and you're like, whoa,
That don't
all right,
really-
I'm gonna end this real quick.
I can't even imagine.
I've never lived that life.
I've experienced it myself personally.
Really? Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna have to talk more about that offline.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, so I'm torn internally if I should bring this up. It's more fun and tongue in cheek, so nobody
we love you, agents.
Nobody get too personal here, but I'm sure you've heard things in the industry that men are far superior agents than women.
Whoa.
Really? You've heard that?
Yeah.
I have
Where'd you
never,
hear that from?
I've
From
never
Elliot?
heard that.
Wow.
Yes. He's like, yes.
Wow. I cannot believe you just said that, because it is absolutely
Hold
not
on.
true.
I thought that you've been to like a female realtor thing, and that was a topic of conversation about how men dominate the real estate industry, in
Especially
regards
commercial.
to like
I am in stuff.
leadership and roles and
Yes.
ownership and,
Yes.
and so I think that's where sometimes the misconception comes into play, that somehow therefore men are better at this stuff than women, and so
It's definitely a misconception.
I think it
right?
is.
If that is thought, it's not true. I think what I find most interesting is that the overwhelming majority of realtors are female. But then if you
Right.
look at leadership, C-suite, people making the decisions that impact everybody, it's like 95% male, right? So very few of those spots are represented by females.
Yeah, isn't it like 60% of the industry is women?
I think it's more.
Yeah, it's
but
way up
it's
there.
high. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that is
You know,
interesting.
but then you also don't get the transactional count that breaks down with that, right? So like you could have that 35% male realtor ecosystem driving 90% of the transactions. We just don't know. Like they don't report it. Like this house was sold by a female. This house was sold by a man. Like
No.
that's not tracked, which would probably be pretty enlightening.
It would be,
Yeah,
especially even listing agent versus buyer agent.
It would be.
Every metric of it would be very
Would be
enlightening.
interesting, but Elliot definitely thinks that is the truth.
I am not a sexist. Let's just get that straight.
No, you just know that men are better.
Wow. People are watching, y'all.
We're just giving you a hard time. I think that for agents that are on a team, they think their team leader is crushing it on
yes.
them. And they feel like they're doing all of the work, and the team leader or maybe the broker, however it's structured, is just making hand over fist. And that it's just so easy to bring them leads and bring them the systems and bring them the process and all of that.
Yeah, you're just making all that money. You're just charging me that 40, 50, 60%. And, leads cost nothing. Systems cost nothing. The building that you're operating in costs nothing. But, you're just sitting back making all this money.
That's what they think.
They haven't done it.
well, yeah.
So true, right? Okay. I have one that will I feel like we can close it out with this one.
What?
Here's
That
another.
all real estate agents are good looking? We can probably
that's
cut
not a
that out.
Definitely,
Misconception.
that is definitely a misconception.
You know
Oh,
what?
speak
Yeah.
for yourself, man.
Yeah, I don't want to. Maybe we won't
Oh,
go
cut
there.
that out, Chloe. That was just
No,
supposed to be
dude,
a
that
joke.
was funny. Don't cut that out. Okay,
That
so
was-
what about? Oh, I lost it. I had it and I lost it. Oh no, it came to me again. All right. So the misconception is that if you go submit your house or your sell, okay, let me start this over. The misconception is if you submit your homeowner's home that's looking for cash offers on like an open door or on an offer pad, that they're not going to contact that homeowner. That is the misconception.
Oh,
That is an absolute misconception. That's more for the industry. It's a misconception.
Yeah,
that they are going to remarket to your client.
I've seen some like posts where like, hey, I submitted my property and my homeowner said, or they got the postcard within
Yep.
like a week.
Yep.
An open door postcard or an offer pad postcard.
Yeah, it's fast,
And,
right?
yeah,
they
like how
they're
did that
merciless.
happen? Yeah, so you know what's going on is they get all these addresses coming in. They go directly to their postcard
Company.
company, and they send the postcards to them. So
Yeah, it's a marketing funnel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because we all know the data shows on a lot of that the people that are going to sell their house that requested that cash offer end up selling within 6 months to 18 months. So start that remarketing now.
and those terms or conditions that they're signing when they're going to get those cash offers for their clients is saying that hey, they can contact them, they can send them marketing. So you gotta watch those terms and conditions.
When is the last time you've read the terms and conditions on a real estate website?
Actually,
When's the last time you read their terms and conditions on your cell phone?
Oh,
Yeah,
Never. Same thing.
Exactly. And I think that that's a little scary because a lot of companies bury things in those
Absolutely.
terms and conditions, and you just have no idea that you're giving Open Door or OfferPad the authority to remarket to your client. So be careful. If you're looking for cash offers, use a safe and secure tool like Zoodealio. We will source those cash offers for you. Our buyers will never circumvent you as the agent, and
we won't send postcards to them.
we will not.
that's funny.
All right. Got any misconceptions in real estate that you would like to add to the conversation? Leave them in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, ring that notification bell. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel.